Here's the truth about approaching men that the feminine energy space doesn't want to admit. The information is incomplete. They either tell you to never approach a man or to walk right up and shoot your shot. Well, both of these extremes are missing the point. So today, we're gonna set the record straight and I'm gonna teach you something that I call dropping the hanky. Welcome back, guys and gals, or welcome if you're new here. I'm Jess, I'm a relationship coach, and I help you become the woman who naturally attracts the relationship and life you desire by raising your self-worth, your feminine confidence, and your standards so that you become a match to the love and life you're calling in. All right, so today we're gonna talk about one of the most debated topics in dating. Should you, as a feminine woman, approach a man? And I have a very specific answer for this, and it involves a history lesson, a very real conversation with my husband, and a concept that I think will shift the way you think about this. So I was on a coaching call with one of my incredible clients, and she is doing amazing work to raise her self-worth and step more into her feminine energy. And when I was on a call with her, she asked me a very important question, which I loved. She asked, what do you think about women approaching men first? And my response to her was, I love it. I absolutely love it. But I want to get a little bit more specific on what I actually mean by that. So I called in my husband spontaneously, which I don't do much on my coaching calls, but I called him in and I asked him, I said, hey, babe, what do you think about women approaching men first? How do you feel about that? And without missing a beat, he said, I love it. But give us an opening, give us a signal, and then let us be the man. And I thought, yes, like that is exactly it, because here's what I see is happening. Women are either in one of two camps. The first camp is, I will never approach a man, a masculine man would come up to me. And there's camp two, where they're like, oh, it's 2026, I'm just gonna walk up and say hi. And neither of those are wrong necessarily, but both of them are incomplete, because here's the thing. Men can't read our minds. I know, crazy. That future person, that amazing, consistent, masculine man you desire, he can be standing directly across the room from you and have no idea that you are open to talking to him. And it's not because he's not interested. It's because a truly respectful man, the man that you truly want, is not going to force himself on a woman without being given a signal. And that is where dropping the hanky comes in. Quick pause. If at any time during this video you realize that you want to go deeper on this work, step more into your feminine energy, attract the right man, and create the relationship you truly desire, I will leave my calendar link in the description below so that you can book a free relationship call with me and we can chat more about where you're at, where you want to be, and if we're a good fit to work together. All right, let's get back to it. Let me take you back for a second. Okay, so back in the day, and I'm talking, a little bit way back in the day, men were extremely respectful to women that they were genuinely interested in, especially the men who were looking for that long-term serious partner. They weren't aggressive, they weren't pushy, and they didn't just walk right up to start a conversation. Because in their mind, that was not how you treated a woman that you respected. That's not how you showed a woman that she was safe with you. And women knew this, so they developed a way to communicate without words to show them that they were open, to show them that they were interested, to show them that it was okay for them to come talk to them. And one of the most iconic ways they did this was by dropping their hanky. A woman would let her handkerchief slip from her hand near a man that she was interested in, and that was the signal. That was the opening. The man could then pick it up, return it to her, and now there was a reason to talk. Now there was a connection, and the man would take it from there. That, my friends, is the feminine approach to approaching men. We're not chasing, we're not throwing ourselves at anybody. You are simply making it known, I see you, I'm open in the door, that door is not closed, and then you're letting the man walk through that door. So what does dropping the hanky look like nowadays? Because I want this to be really practical for you and not just theoretical. So I'm gonna give you a few examples. So the first example I'm gonna give you is a gym example, because my client has in a situation exactly like this. There's the guy at the gym, they make eye sometimes, the energy is there, but nothing has happened yet. So I told her, next time you're in the gym and you see him, drop the hanky. And the hanky in the gym, it could look like asking for help with something. So maybe there's a weight you can't reach, or maybe it's a plate that's too heavy that you can't lift. Something that creates a natural, easy reason for him to step in and help. And now he has that opening. He knows you're friendly. He knows you're approachable. And if he's interested, a good man will take it from there. So my next example is gonna be a bar example. So I had a friend and we were sitting at a bar, and she noticed a really attractive man who was across the way from us. And I was like, why don't you go up and say hi? And she said, no, a masculine man would come up and approach me. And I understood that. I totally get it. Like, that desire is so real and so valid. But I told her, he doesn't even know you exist right now. He doesn't even know that you're open to it at all. So the hanky in this situation, it could be eye contact that just lingers a little longer. So he knows, like, oh, she sees me and she's not looking away. Or maybe just a soft smile. So it's that warmth, that friendliness that he sees that's inviting him to come over and say hi. That's it. That's all it takes. That is the signal. And then you let him take it from there. So now I'll give you kind of like an everyday moment. Maybe you're standing in a coffee shop and there's someone really interesting nearby. You could make a small light comment about the music, maybe about the wait, about how much you love the coffee here, like anything. And I'm not talking about a pickup line. I'm not talking about some big declaration, just a warm, open moment that says, I'm friendly, I'm here, and I see you. Drop that hanky and let him pick it up. This can be so fun. Now I want to tell you why this works, because this isn't just some strategy. There's actually something really important happening beneath the surface. When you lead with your feminine energy, that warmth, that softness, that openness, that receptivity, you are not just giving a man an opening. You are showing them who you are. You are showing him that you're soft, you're safe, you're open, you're worth approaching. And a masculine man who is looking for a partner, a long-term partner, that is what he is looking for. He wants to be the one that steps up. He wants to feel like he pursued you. And when you are dropping that hanky, you are letting him have that. You are allowing him to be the man. My husband said it perfectly. Give us an opening and then let us be a man. So of course, I'm gonna bring the neuroscience into this because I love neuroscience. Research on attraction shows that warm, approachable body language, like open posture, eye contact, a genuine smile, it activates what researchers call affiliative signals. They literally signal safety and openness to connection. So you are not manipulating anyone. You are simply communicating in a language as old as human connection itself. So let me be clear on what this is not. This is not chasing. This is not convincing someone to like you. This is not lowering your standards or throwing yourself at a man who hasn't earned your time or energy. So if you drop the hanky and he doesn't pick it up, that is information for you, and that is okay. A man who is right for you, he will notice, he will step up, he will be grateful for that opening, and then he will take it from there. You are not doing all the work. You are simply unlocking the door. He still has to walk through it, but that is the difference between chasing and choosing to be choosable. All right, so I wanna leave you with something to sit with and reflect on. Your journaling prompt for today is, think about a situation, either past or present, where you wanted a man to approach you, but nothing happened. Was there a moment where you could have dropped the hanky? What would that have looked like for you? And a little follow-up bonus question for the bonus hunters out there. Where have you been waiting to be seen, but haven't given anybody permission to actually see you? Because here's the truth. You can still be a high-value feminine woman and still let people know that you are open to love. Those two things are not in conflict. In fact, a woman who truly knows her worth is the kind of woman who doesn't need to hide. All right, so let's bring this all home, shall we? Should women approach men? Yes, but with intention. And remember, it's not by chasing, it's not by forcing, but by simply dropping the hanky. Create a small, warm, natural opening for him. Let him know that you're approachable, that it's safe to come talk to you, and then let him be the man. Because the man who is right for you, he is looking exactly for that signal. And when you give it to him with warmth and confidence, he will absolutely come and pick up that hanky. All right, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next. And If you found this video helpful, please share this with a woman who you think needs to hear this today. And of course, if you realize that you don't want to do this work alone and you're ready to become the woman who naturally attracts the relationship and life you desire, I will leave my calendar link in the description below so you can book a free relationship call with me. We can chat, see where you're at, see where you want to be, and see if we're a good fit to work together. All right, remember, self-love isn't optional. It's the foundation for the relationship and life you desire. All right, girls, I'll see you in the next one.